to move higher.
Actually closing green on that.
All right, good
Natural
afternoon,
gas
traders. Today
on some bond
is
options and
March,
Fed balance
May
sheet.
7th,
Earnings
2025.
tomorrow
My
are
name is John
huge.
Kerrigan.
CLS.
I'm the lead instructor here at
That's a
BYOB
nice
Thursday
Trading
is our
Room.
biggest
Thank you
day.
for being
Now,
here. Thank you
Marina,
everybody out there in
that's a
digital
fig
land,
Newton.
cyber
That
land,
might as well be a morning
I'm
star.
podcast
showing
land. Thank you
possible of
Call it a fig
300
Newton.
following.
some
Appreciate
earnings
that.
tomorrow.
Love that. All right,
that
thank you for
might
the
as well
kind
be a
words
fig Newton.
and the thumbs up
I'm
and
sorry, might as well
all
be a
of
morning
the
star.
hearts on
And it
Twitter.
depends
Thank
how,
you so much.
how
Let's go
crooked
take a look
you
at
want
some
to get your
charts.
candlestick.
10-minute chart. We got.
You know, it depends how drunk you
So,
want your
Chart, we have a
let's take a
10-minute
look.
uptrend coming into the close. All
strong,
right, 10-minute
weak,
uptrend
strong.
coming into the close. 2 hour
Anyway,
chart.
this is working out.
Our
really
earnings
have a
today,
2-hour
we really don't
I'm just going to
have
call it a
to
2-hour uptrend coming
and
into the
NVIDIA
close on the daily chart. All
big
right,
giant
I've got
outside debt.
a ton.
Okay, it's a higher
20
high and a
calls
lower
on
low
NVIDIA,
closing
34
over a
points.
bullish trap over the
We'll
17
just call it a
EMA.
day.
Let's look at some
Take
of
a look
these
at this
fours.
on
$15,000 on this.
with the quad lines on there.
EXON.
And you can see right here, price action
We'll
see what happens.
is in the middle. All right, it's not in
We get a
the third,
good
not in the
top
lower
this.
third.
at least.
So this
half.
is neutral.
So at
Still in an
4,
uptrend. SPY. Let's take a look at
All righty,
this.
ladies and gentlemen, I've got to run.
All right,
I want to thank you all for
QQ,
being
higher
here.
low, higher
And it's
high.
truly been a pleasure doing
All
business.
All right,
Yes,
so that's
there's
an
a nice
uptrend
harvest
in the
in
middle,
BKS.
not in the upper third, not in the lower third.
See,
So just
Mars
Mars
neutral
right
going
here,
in
like
a direction.
845
There's QQQ.
for the pre-market.
FNGB or FNGA.
And target.
Nice consolidation right here.
Run.
Yeah,
Still
today's
filled
not a
that
great
bullish
day.
gap
Up a little
like
bit.
that.
Faded back.
Price
Hang out with
action.
my guitar
I
friend.
have to zoom in because I can't see.
You sound like cats on a chalkboard. We'll see everybody later.
All right,
Take care.
let's just do this. The high is 440.52. The high is 440.50. All right, so lower high, lower low, closing over a bullish trap. Over the 17
CCSI,
EMA.
nothing
Up
happening
here,
here.
quadrant 2. Underneath the all-time high at the VWAP.
Yes.
That's neutral.
Yeah.
All right,
Pull back.
that's neutral right there. All right, it's still in an uptrend, making higher lows and higher highs. You got a little high right
more
here
than
that
notables
sweep
will be
above
at
in
405,
17.
so
So that's an
we'll
uptrend.
catch some of
So
those
there's
here.
the
Just
FNGA on the daily chart. Let's take a look at IWM. All right, IWM got a
so run,
tiny
little pop
candle,
up.
so it's hard
That's still a
to
good
see.
bullish chart.
All right, let's just do it this way. The high
Past
is
earnings, that's a potential buy.
198.59. The high is 198.94. So that's a high.
Car, obviously,
And it looks
sharply
like a
lower.
higher low. Closing over a bullish trap over
I've
the
probably heard a
17
little bit for
EMA.
those who
Not in the
trade
lower
by
third,
this
so that's
going into
neutral.
report.
And it ended
I don't
up
see
a
that
week
as being
uptrend
terrible for
at
that
that.
chart
It's
at
only a
all.
one candle pullback right here. It's hardly a higher low, but it is what it
SWKS,
is.
nice pop.
All right.
That is a
We
nice
got a low
bullish
here,
pattern.
made a high. All right,
SWKS,
so
we
we
might
got
want to
actually
jot
we
that
got
down.
a
Could
higher
be
low
noteworthy for
and a
tomorrow
higher
for
high
potential
right
buy.
there. So
If you're looking
there's
for
IWM on a
semiconductors.
week uptrend neutral.
Particularly if it
Underneath
can
the
hold
all-time
in
high
here
on
and break
VWAP.
above this,
Still a
you
lot
got
of
a gap
work
that could be
done there
filled.
on IWM. Diamond down. Diamond down puts in a higher
SYM
high,
sharply
closing
lower,
over bullish
but
trap
bouncing
over the
back
17
up, nothing
EMA,
going
up
on there, nothing
over
going on there.
this midpoint, up over
So
down
it
line,
is
but still
405.
under
Let's take a
the
look at
all-time high.
APP.
Up here in quadrant 3, that's neutral.
Yeah,
In and
trying to get a
under,
little bit
higher
of a pump
low,
there.
higher high. All right, so there's diamond down. Let's take a look at
Arm. Ouch.
what else we want to look at. Let's take a look at
Somebody
technicals.
cut their
That's what
arm
we
off.
wanted to do. Spent the day in the
It's
buy
not that
zone.
bad when you look at the daily.
Right, nice
though.
work on the
Pullback
bulls there.
could hold support.
I mean, they've been holding it up here for a long time. Look at the hold. This is called
There's
holding
just
the
so
higher
much of
ground.
this mix of things
This
in
is
here,
looking
guys.
good.
You got to
Right?
remember
This
that
is really
you're
good
not getting
for the bulls.
just the
T21,
vast
23.
majority just blowing out earnings, moving to the upside.
Came out
It's different
bullish.
this quarter.
Still,
I think next quarter
that
could
bullish
be
gap still
harder.
hasn't filled. even gapped up this morning, still didn't fill that gap, so got another bullish gap that didn't get filled.
FTNT.
All right, and then we get consolidation over prior consolidation. We're still bullish. All right, consolidation
down.
over prior consolidation. That's bullish right there. T2123 up over the 15
Little
SMA
tiny
there.
pop up on
You can
that
see
guy.
price action making higher lows and higher highs on the 15 minute. All right, pulling back to the midpoint.
Let's list.
Nice work there. They got right up here. They got a big open gap
Sonos
right
getting a
there,
pop to the
and they
upside.
pulled right up next to it, or pretty close to it right there. On 2123 bar.
Kind of nothing in there.
All right, we've got three more green candle bars up here at the midpoint. Same product. It's just going to look a little bit different because it's on a 3-bar chart and not a 15. Still underneath the fading 200 SMA here. Okay. For T2123 to make a higher high. See these red? Excuse me. See the green 17 EMA balls there? They have to get up over that. Okay, so that's where they have to go to make a higher high.
Zillow's
So
at
on
410.
the smaller time frame, the 15, you can see we're making. You can see the highs and the lows, and we're making higher highs and higher lows and higher highs.
RNC
So
is
they're
trying to
getting
go
it done
just a
on the
tiny bit
15.
higher.
Still a long ways away from transcending that 15 into the 3-bar chart.
PAYC, nice pop
Okay,
there.
still a long ways away.
That's a nice bullish chart now.
It's
Could
bullish
set long.
until it's not. Right?
Well, of course,
So
remember,
it's bullish
we got to
until
get
it's
through the
not.
conference
Got
call,
another
so that
open
can
gap.
change everything.
Possibly tomorrow could be a huge gap up or a run. We'll see. There's T21, or maybe a pullback after hitting this. There's a huge space right there. I would expect maybe a pullback, maybe support. Maybe right down here. We'll see what happens.
Trying to
Right?
gap up.
There's T2123 3-bar. Here's SMGA. All right, or whichever one.
Big day.
Consolidation.
My goodness.
Over
big day.
prior consolidation, that's bullish. Over the
TGII,
200
not much
SMA,
happening
that's
there.
bullish. Okay. Bullish gap still hasn't got filled. That's a bullish environment. So we got consolidation over consolidation. That's a bullish environment. You're up over the 200 SMA. That's a bullish environment. You got a bullish gap up that hasn't been filled. That's a bullish environment. And you're making higher lows and higher highs. That's a bullish environment. And you're holding the higher ground. That's a bullish environment. Remember, this is the one with 10 of the most heavily weighted securities in the QQQ and the SNY. And I'm just saying, it's not acting weak. All right?
Yeah, whipped around.
It's not acting weak.
Nothing happening on that
All
one.
right? I would look. For me, I would like to find a 10-minute uptrend
not
in
have
SPY or QQQ that's inside of a bullish 2-hour uptrend that's inside of a
Q
daily uptrend. And we have the daily uptrend. We just formed a new 2-hour uptrend, and we have a 10-minute uptrend. Okay? So it's actually going on. So I'm looking for follow through tomorrow morning. Okay? So I'll be looking for.
There you go. There's a nice pop to the upside.
Can you guys hear me?
Could be a nice higher low. Trying to break that downtrend here soon. That might be something for the list.
Very choppy. All right, let me pause it. You can hear me, Ed? Rod says, I'll refresh. Okay, I'm just going to refresh real quick. Okay?
UTI. Yeah, just.
And start it up again. All right, we're back. All right. So remember, this right here, this is the product that has 10 of the most heavily weighted securities in the QQQ and the SPY. So we got what I'm looking for. All right, tomorrow I'm looking for a daily uptrend. We have it. A 2-hour uptrend. It's weak. We just started it. Okay. We looking for 10-minute uptrend. We
Carvana's
have
going
that.
lower.
Okay. So for tomorrow morning, okay, I'll be looking for
LI
a
is going
decent
sharply
10-minute candle
higher.
that breaks out of the
Oofed up.
first 15-minute block.
Good pop.
Okay. A
Nobody's
decent
gonna be-
green candle. I
Very
don't want a
few people are
topping
gonna be
wick.
trading
Anything
that
with more wick
$2,500 a
than
share.
body
There
and
you
tail,
go.
I'm not interested in. Okay, because that's showing me bearish
No retail
control.
anyway.
I don't want a red candle because that's going to show me bearish control. Okay, I don't want it. Like I said, I don't want a topping wick. I don't
So there
want a
we got it.
spinning
We got
top,
quite a few
and I
here.
don't want a
Carvana,
doji
well, still
because
bouncing
that shows
around, but
me no one
looks like
has
it's
control.
resolving a bit.
All right, so I don't want any
Bit
neutral
lower here.
candles,
Nothing wrong with
and
that
I don't
pattern
want
if it
anything
holds,
that
depending
leans
on what
towards
they're-
a
maybe they can
bearish
AI
candle.
car sales.
All right, that's what I'm looking for
about that.
tomorrow
It might
morning.
be,
Out of the gate, all right, preferably,
might be a good
or if I
thing if
see
they
a
can AI
red,
those car sales.
excuse me, green erase red in some pre-market activity, all right, I would be tempted to take that as well, all right, but I'm still not buying any red candles.
Zillow
All
lower,
right,
SanDisk
that's what
a
I'm
little
looking
higher.
for tomorrow morning.
Nothing.
All right,
Mills
so
lower.
this
Nothing.
is a bull. This is
UFI.
bullish right now.
I mean, UTI
Okay, it's
making
been bullish.
a higher move now.
Uptrend.
Nice pop.
Okay, over the 200.
Looking
That's
very
bullish.
trying to break
All
out.
right, making higher highs and higher lows. That's bullish. Same thing.
QDell
Bullish
making a
gap
nice
up, not
pop.
filled by the bears.
Pulled back
That's
quite a bit
bullish.
from the
Over
high,
the 200. That's bullish.
but
Over
nothing
this
wrong with that
high
chart
anchored
if it can
VWAP,
hold.
also bullish. All right.
Oops.
This is still looking good. Holding the higher ground, also bullish. Okay, so FNGA looking really nice here.
That's gonna
Okay.
hurt.
So let's take a look at. We did all of these. That's it. Let's take a look at XLE.
PAYC. I'm
I
kind
gotta
of
go to a
surprised on that
different
one.
one right here.
Coming all the way
not
back
the
down
one.
here.
Okay, so let's take a look at XLE. Here's energy. Energy is still bearish.
Still setting up in a
all
bullish
right?
pattern if that can
You
hold.
can see
but
price action.
not getting any
All right,
great
it's still in
response
the
on the
lower
earnings.
third. Okay, if you're going to take the quad lines and divide them up into thirds,
CRNC,
okay,
little
this
pop,
is still
that's looking pretty
in the
bullish
lower
there.
third. It's holding the higher ground of this mini bull flag,
PBI, not
all
so
right,
good.
but it hasn't made a higher high, all right, because we don't have a high up over the 17. Okay, so
Big pop
it's
there, but
still in
yeah,
a downtrend. It just happens
that
to
chart
be in
bullish.
a pullback in the downtrend.
Give them that.
Okay, still caught underneath this
So
12
quite a mix.
month high anchored VWAP.
Bros
Still
has
caught
come all the
underneath
way back.
downtrend line 1 and downtrend line 2. Price action still in the lower third. This is still bearish
APP getting
and not
going
even
here.
in an uptrend yet. Okay, so there's XLE. All right, it's looking like it wants to break out. That's a nice hold.
So there
up
you have it, guys.
But notice none of
Let's
these
take a
17
look.
balls are green. Just a couple. That's it. All right.
Diamonds
So still
after
bearish
the bell.
right there.
Not much
Take
change.
a look at USO. All right, USO in quadrant
SPY
1.
after
That's
the bell.
bearish. It's in the
Not
lower
much
third.
change.
Okay, USO making
Qs after
lower
the bell,
highs.
maybe
See the
just a
high up
tiny bit
here,
higher.
lower high, and lower lows. See the low, making a lower low.
IWM,
Got another lower
not
high.
much change.
Will the bears be inspired to make a new low? We'll see. So there's USO. Downtrend, bearish. Okay, in the lower third. Underneath this 3-year high anchored VWAP. That's a
So
post-COVID
that's where
high
we
right
are.
there. Okay, so that's post-COVID.
Any questions,
rally.
guys?
All right, and then there's the anchored VWAP
can
off
help
of
you
that
with before I
post-COVID
go.
high. Okay,
Boeing held
well
in there
underneath
nice.
the midpoint here,
BTU.
price action. Let's take a look at UNG.
No particular worries
All
there
right,
on
UNG
BTU.
under the downtrend
LAC.
line. Okay, still in
Good
a
update,
downtrend.
good
They got
pullback.
themselves in a downtrend because
AT&T pulled
they
back
took
tiny
out
little bit
this low right here.
from the high
Okay,
of
they
the
took
day.
out this
but
low and this low right here.
No
Okay,
worries
so
there.
they're in a
TLT
downtrend because they made lower
had a
lows.
nice little pop,
Okay,
but it
currently
also
they're in
pulled back.
a downtrend but pulling back, looking like a bear flag to me. All right, it's a pullback in this.
So
in
we'll
this
have to wait and see
downtrend
what
right
these
now.
earnings
Probably
calls
gonna pull
are,
back to
how
trend
this all
right up
shakes
here.
out, what happens
All
tomorrow
right,
morning.
and see
is
how if they
anybody's
can
guess.
negotiate or
Best thing that probably
transcend
happened
over it.
to
We'll
us
see
is
what
we get
happens
some
if
good
they got the
clarity on the
juice.
chip
All right,
tariff thing.
UNG. This is the 12-month anchored VWAP. Okay,
what that
notice
might mean for tomorrow.
we're up over that. That's nice. Okay, we're not in the lower third. We're not in the upper third. So we're just neutral. and still in
Fred,
the
you're very
downtrend,
welcome.
and still under the downtrend line. All
Carmen,
right,
you're
but
welcome.
over the all-time high, no, over the
Thank you, Edward.
12-month high
Appreciate it.
anchored VWAP. Okay,
You
holding
guys
up
take
there
care. Have a
in like
great
mini
afternoon.
bull formation. On the bigger picture, that's
Hey,
a bear flag.
My
It's
pleasure.
a big bear flag.
Have a great
but in
afternoon,
this
and I will
move
see you
up
first
and
thing
over
in the
to the
morning.
right. That's a little mini bull flag and a
Take care,
bear
everyone.
flag. Okay, so there's UNG.
If anyone wants to
Still
mow,
neutral
come on over.
right there. Not yet. Not ready yet. Okay, you need to see it make some higher highs. It's not ready yet. So that's
See you in the
UNG.
morning.
Let's take a look at precious metals, GLD. All right, GLD. Excuse me. Gold had a pullback. It's a lower high and a lower low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Okay, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Gold is bullish. It's making higher lows and higher highs. That's an uptrend. Okay, up here in the upper third, that's bullish. Up over the uptrend line, that's bullish. So gold getting it done. Let's take a look at silver. All right, silver price action is a lower high and a lower low, closing underneath bearish cross, underneath flat 17 over this. This is a 6-month and a 12-year high. This doubles as a 12-year high and a 6-month high anchored VWAP right through here. So you can see price action for silver on the daily chart hanging out up above it. That's bullish. In the upper third, also bullish. Okay, closing underneath the 17, not so much. Closing underneath the bearish cross, not so much. But still in the upper third, that's bullish. All right, and still in a downtrend, believe it or not. Okay, they got themselves in a downtrend by taking out that low, that low, that low, and even that low way over here. Okay, they made lower low right down here. See that? Almost darn near took out these twos. All right, so that's a lower low. So that puts them in a downtrend. So in order to negate the downtrend, they have to take out the high up here. Okay, and they haven't been able to do it. Chances are they made a lower high, a pullback, and now they're going to rip up and probably take it out right here, this lower high. I would suspect that's probably in the agenda after they get through faking everybody out. So there's silver on the daily chart. Okay, in a downtrend but not moving down. Okay, it's actually holding a bull flag right here. Okay, it's in a downtrend. Technically, remember, it's just a label. Okay, but not moving down. Look at the price action, what it's doing. Is it in a downtrend? Yes. Okay, but look at what it's doing. It's moving up and it's holding the higher ground. That's bullish. All right, keep that in mind. That is bullish up there. Okay, in the upper third, also bullish. All right, you can have a couple dead bad days while you're up here. Okay, so there's silver. Let's take a look at SMH. All right, SMH digging themselves out of the hole here. Okay, they were bearish a couple weeks ago down here in the lower third. Now they're neutral. They're no longer in the lower third. They're not in the upper third. So they're just in the neutral zone right here. Okay, they made a higher low. See, here's a low. They made a higher low. All right, and there's a high. And they made a higher high. So that puts them in an uptrend. Okay, and they're no longer in the bearish zone. So they're neutral. Okay, kind of showing like maybe a possible head and shoulders inverted right there. Price action, okay, is under the downtrend line, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, still neutral, all right? Like to see them make a significant higher high. Like maybe get up here, break this downtrend line, do something significant. So we're still a ways off from a robust rally or a tweet or two. Either one could probably project us back up to the highs. We'll see. There's SMH. Let's take a look at big brother to the SMH. It's XLK. All right. XLK is technology sector. Look at technology. SMH down here in 2. Notice XLK up here in 3. A little meaner, a little leaner, a little stronger. Okay. Higher low, higher high. All right. So that's an uptrend. All right. Higher lows and higher highs, an uptrend. Okay, not in the upper third yet. Knocking on the door. Okay, not in the lower third, so it's just neutral. Still under this uptrend line right here. Okay, so knocking on the door. I like this holding the higher ground business. All right, and I like this bullish gap not getting filled business too. Okay, so I like that. All right, holding the higher ground, not filling the bearish gaps over the all-time high anchored VWAP. I like that. Okay, that's bullish for me. I like that. All right, so looking like it really wants to knock on the door and make an entrance, or make an entrance into the bullish zone up here in the upper third. So that's XLK. All right, let's take a look at XLF. That's bullish. XLF is also bullish. Notice it's in the upper third, so that's bullish. All right, XLK is in the neutral zone. I know I said bullish like 4 times. Okay, it's not in the upper third, so it's not bullish yet. But what it's doing is acting bullish. That's some bullish price action. Okay, it's not up in the bullish zone yet. It's not in the upper third. Okay, so it's just neutral, but everything you see here is bullish. All right, that behavior is bullish. That's what I was talking about. I didn't mean to confuse you guys. All right, XLF again, holding the higher ground. Notice the consolidation of 6-7 bricks through here. A little consolidation up there. Price action, all right, making higher lows and higher highs. That's an uptrend over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's bullish. In the upper third, that's bullish, and in an uptrend. This is looking good, okay? If we can just get the semiconductors on board, all right, and maybe, well, the big cap stocks are on board. The mid caps and small caps are making headway, not by leaps and bounds, but they are grinding higher day by day by day. Look at the grind day by day by day. They grind out a little bit higher. All right, so it's happening. It's just not. It's just slow. See the higher consolidation over the prior. Again, higher over prior, higher over prior, higher over prior. See how they just keep grinding their way up right through this. They're doing it. FNGA is also getting it done. See? Look at this. Higher lows, higher highs. Now you find yourself over that high anchored VWAP and up over this hooking 200 SMA and holding the higher ground. We've got a lot of stuff going for us right now. Okay? The only issue is SMH and technology, which pretty much lead every rally, okay, are still stuck in the neutral zone, okay? They're still stuck there, all right? That's about the only drawback. And transports really aren't helping us. I just did XLF. Let's go back and just do IYT. All right, price action here is, again, holding the higher ground. Okay, IYT, a high, a low. It's a really weak uptrend. All right, I can just barely call it. And they just walked through the threshold into the neutral zone, okay? Well, 4 days ago. All right, but I do like the hold up over the prior consolidation. Okay, so just barely an uptrend here. All right, see the high, making a higher high. All right, there's IYT on the daily chart. Still just crossing the threshold into the neutral zone underneath this all-time high anchored VWAP. Keep in mind, they're still way down here, quadrant 2. They got a long ways to go. They got to finish out quadrant 2 and hold the midpoint. They got to get up over all-time high anchored VWAP and hold the higher ground up there, and then start knocking on the door to the bullish zone up here. So still a lot of work to be done here on IYT. All right, so what did we trade today? Let me just tell you, I got very lucky. Okay, I did kind of see something that I thought might happen. I wasn't positive that it would happen, but I have seen this price action before. Okay? That's all I'll say. And I will back that up by saying I got lucky. All right? All right, SPY on the 10-minute chart. It was kind of a sloppy day. It really was. You can see there was no gap, and if we did, we filled it first thing this morning. And you can see the 3 EMA crossing under the 8, and then over the 8, then under the 8, and then over the 8, then under the 8, then over the 8, and then under the 8, and then over the 8, and then under the 8, and then over the 8, okay? If that didn't make you seasick, all right, it's the same thing that happened to us yesterday, or the day before, pretty much. Okay, we did have one nice rip right through here, but it didn't last long. Okay, this was nothing but chop, all right, and it probably tore up your account. And then at the very end, when you finally thought you got a hold of something good, they did the EKG on you, okay? They rip it down, and then they spike it up, and then they come down a little bit, and then they rip it all the way back up, okay? So, and that was due to the FOMC statement, okay? What I do like is price action up here, still holding the higher ground. I actually think we start to consolidate. I don't know whether they're going to call this the low part of the consolidation, all right? This 557 area and the 567 area. Okay, maybe that's the 10-point swing. Okay, notice up and then back and then up and then back and then up. Not really quite. Yeah, it's just still very sloppy consolidation. We'll look for a pattern later on, but I don't see anything yet. Okay, so here's our downtrend line right there. Okay, so we never got over that. And what I saw, all right, was a pre-market spike in the pre-market. Okay, and it was here. It was in the post-market from yesterday where price spiked up right at 6 o'clock. Okay, if you can get the post-market for yesterday, you'll see that price action spiked way up right at 6 o'clock, and it went all the way to 565. All right, and then it fell like a rock all the way back. Okay, so I saw that, and usually when you see that, they're gonna go after it. All right, so that was what I saw. Whenever you see that, they're usually gonna go after it. All right, but I'm not saying you gotta buy blindly. I'm saying look for your 10-minute uptrends, your 3-minute uptrends, your 5-minute uptrends to get you there. Okay, you just can't buy a trend and it's falling. All right, you kind of want to look for a 3-minute uptrend, a 5-minute uptrend to get you there. That 565 number. Okay, and they got close. All right, at near end of day, they got 563.85, and then they pulled it back hard and ripped again at the end of day. Okay, so I lost money today. I lost about $1,000. Actually, $2,000 right here. Okay, so I lost $2,000. Okay, these are my gains, but I did have some losses. Let's put these over there. Okay, so I gained 1,000, and I will actually I lost 1,000, and I will lose one more right here. These I will hold. They are good for 16 days. Okay, so I had a bad day, and I got lucky at the end of the day. It is what it is. All right, tomorrow's another day. All right. The good thing is I know how to make up for what I lost. I did very well in my futures account. If you want me to share that with you, well, whether you like it or not, I think I got it right here. All right, so on the futures, I traded those with the SPY. All All right, and for performance, 11,000 on my futures for today. I will take a look at MO and NVDA. All right, so I lost money on the options, but I did well on the futures. Okay, so it's a great day for me on the futures. And let's go take a look. Robert wants to see MO. What do I think of MO? That's an uptrend right there. That's beautiful. All right. I guess, didn't you give me Philip Morris yesterday? I guess those vapes are the. Yeah, I guess vaping's becoming the new cigarette. I guess. I don't know. Okay, where are you going to get turbulence? All right, remember, just like anywhere, it will be a peak between two valleys. I'm on a monthly chart, Robert. Okay, it will be a peak between two valleys right here. Notice the turbulence right there. All right, and it will be the valley between two peaks right here. And you're right into it right now. Okay, if you happen to climb through and hold the higher ground, both of those on a weekly chart, I see smooth sailing to go tackle this high, that breakdown candle high, and this all-time high up there. And you're looking good right now, I got to tell you. Okay, if you can get up over 61, hold that area, I think your first stop's going to be this peak, 66.23. Your second stop's going to be this peak, 74.50, and then all the way up to all-time high, 78.13. Okay. Expect a little turbulence where you are right now. Let's take a look at it on the daily chart. Yeah, you'd like to see a bull flag here, or maybe even a pullback to minor support. All right, I'd like to see a bull flag, and you can see what's this candle. Okay, who owns that candle, right? Traders. More wick than body and tail. Okay? The bears own that candle. Okay? See the tail? More tail than body and wick. The bulls own that candle. The bulls own that candle. Today's candle, the bears had a big part in. And it almost looks, I gotta say, it looks equal. All right? I take that back. It looks equal. The body and tail looks equal to the wick. All right. Anyways, okay. Price action is very bullish up here. You need it to hold and get up on top of 61. All right. So maybe a little more push tomorrow. You want them to push up to 62, 63, pull back and hold 61. Okay. That's what I'd be looking for. Nice run, 5 straight green days in a row, up over VWAP, up over, the 17 EMA, up over the bullish trap. This is looking fantastic, okay? It had a nice run. It's kind of hot, and you're into resistance, all right? So this is where you want to watch it. This is where I would move my stop up. All right, and I'd probably even take profit here. All right, and wait for it to get on top of 61 and then pick it up again if it holds on 61. That's just me, or you can watch it produce a grinder box. All right, and then shoot up. If you see that grinder box start to form, try to get the bottom of that grinder box. All right, so that's MO. Same thing with Philip Morris, all right? It's bullish, all right? NVIDIA. NVIDIA is bullish. Higher lows, higher highs. See the higher low, higher high. Not by much, all right? Not by much. Just today you got the breakout. See the 4 candle hold, and there's the breakout. Okay, so they need to get up there and hold that higher ground. Actually, they need to push a little further and test this area over here. See these double top right here that sent us packing. Okay, they should get up there and test that. I would look for them to test that, spike it really hard, meaning put a wick going through it. Okay, so look for them to spike NVIDIA, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. All right, this is looking good. That's bullish. Higher lows, higher highs. Just now got a higher high. Okay, just today, right there. All right. Now you want to see them hold that area. They see the grinder box they put in, and then they pop through. Okay. Right there. So that's bullish. Now, just to be fair, okay, this is your weekly chart. It's in a downtrend. This is your 3-day chart. It's in a downtrend. This is your 2-day chart. It's in a downtrend. Okay, so I don't know how far it will go, but it's bullish until it's not. Okay, where would you find resistance? Well, you're going to find some. See all these tails here, right on top of this double top, right there. Okay, you're going to find some resistance right there. See the valley between the two peaks? Okay, that will be a next target up, right up there. Okay, and then of course the next valley and the next valley. I like to see them challenge this, the 121.83, right there, this week, for you. All right? Thanks, Brad. Would I buy March 16 strikes? May 16. You said May 16. I give it a little more time. I mean, do you need to go that short? Because you're gonna experience volatility, theta decay, even though you're a week away. Yeah, you could buy the 16, but if you could, I don't know what they're priced at. They're probably very high now because price is moving up. But I would shop the other weeks as well. And, for me, sometimes if I can gain, pay the same price and gain a strike lower, okay, I buy. I look at that. The big thing for me is open interest. But if I can pay the same price and get another week out of it, I look at that too. NVIDIA reports the 28th, maybe June or July. That makes it tough. Well, on the 16th, you got another 7 days. You could go out one more week or might as well stick with the monthly. That's the 16th, right? That's the monthly, the weekly, and the daily all wrapped up into one, right? On the 16th. Yeah, okay, look at stick to the nickels, increments of 5, and whole numbers. And yeah, I would get some of the 16s. I'm going to go look at it with you. Price is at 117 roughly. And so we're looking at the 16th, which is 9 days. And you're at 117. So 120 is going to have a lot of open interest. I like a lot of open interest on 120 and 125. I actually like the 125 because of the tighter spread. But you give up some performance though. You know, the closer you are to at the money, the better your performance is, but you pay more. It all depends on what you like. All right, me, I don't mind giving up some performance to take on a little less risk. I like that 2 penny spread. I like that a lot. All right, traders, that's it for me for today. I'll see you guys all tomorrow, all right, at 8 o'clock. All right, we'll do it again. Okay, everybody have a wonderful evening.